Good morning and happy Friday, everybody. Thank God it's Friday, right? Thanks again for joining us for another Friday. Today we have Gina Breaux. Hi, Gina.
Hi, everybody.
She's our Director of Business Development and an Ultra member advocate. So she'll be going over tips and tools of how to build a better budget. So, Gina, I'll let you just take it away. Let's get
Okay,
started.
well, thank you, Sheila. And yes, happy Friday, everyone. So let's get started and talk a little bit about budgeting. A recent Gallup poll found that only a third of Americans, or 30%, maintain a budget. So I'm hoping today that you can, if you already have a budget, that you can just keep on track, or if you are planning to create a budget, that this will be a perfect presentation for you as well. So let's see. What is a budget? It's really just an estimate of your income and your expenses for a period of time. Most use a monthly budget. So a budget really helps you achieve your financial goals. Let's take a look and see why do we budget? Well, in a nutshell, it helps you ensure that you don't spend more money than you have. It helps us use our money efficiently and achieve our financial goals at the end of the day. But more importantly, it really helps reduce your stress. Now let's look at some characteristics of your budgeting goals. Are your goals smart? Are they specific with a purpose? Are they measurable, and with how much and by when? And are they attainable? Not too far fetched. Are they reasonable? And are they relevant? Do they really meet your specific needs? And then finally, are your goals tethered to a timeline? It could be days, months, or even years. So here we have a sample of a goal worksheet, and there's many online that you can find, but I like this one specifically because you list specific goals. Some could be short, some could be long-term. And then you have right over here, there's a anticipated roadblocks section. And I think that's why I like it so much, because there are so many roadblocks. And so being able to identify roadblocks will help you create actions to keep you on track to meet your financial goals.
Well, and it all depends, right, Gina, on like what the goal is. Because I know normally I use something digital or like a free app, but then sometimes I have to write it down on paper. So again, this is a great sample, but of course, there's so many other ways to do it, right?
Absolutely, yes. And I think we get into that a little bit further because there are so many options. Absolutely. So an emergency fund, this is really important to discuss because roughly 50% of Americans don't have an emergency fund. And really an emergency fund is 3 to 6 months of your essential living expenses. So it should be your rent, your mortgage, electricity, food, insurance, just the essentials that you really need to get by with. And this type of fund really should be kept in something liquid, which means you have access to it. Such as a savings account. That's an excellent place to store your emergency funds.
And emergency funds can be used for anything. I have, believe it or not, I know many of you out there, I have a pet emergency fund because we all know how much it costs at the vet. So like Gina says, it can be anything, definitely 3 to 6 months of what your essentials and your bills, but also it can be for something like for your car, planning for your car, or like me, I have 2 big dogs and they're always at the vet. So definitely something good to have.
That's so true, Sheila. And then looking at how we save while we're paying off debt is really important. So I recommend to my members to start the emergency fund, even if you have debt. Don't wait until you don't have debt, because most of us will always have debt. So it can be a small amount, even $25 a pay period. But the main thing is to make sure you start it and save for retirement. This helps you save money by reducing your taxable income, and many employers match your contributions. So if you're not taking advantage of that, you're leaving free money on the table. And then the last thing is delay for less vital goals. So if it's a vacation maybe that you're setting your goals for, you might want to delay it. And then here's a sample of credit cards and how using them can be costly. very costly. So here we have an example of a credit card that is with a $2,000 limit, and it's going to take you, if you pay the minimum payment, over 14 years to pay that off. And it's going to cost you $2,800 in interest. So that's a lot of unnecessary costs that you incur by keeping that off and not paying it off monthly. Financial Partners does have a 0% credit card offer for our members. It's 12 months, and you can use it for purchases or balance transfers. So always recommend shopping for a good rate, and make sure it doesn't have an annual fee.
You know what I love to always tell our young, if you could go back to the other slide, what I always like to tell our interns, because they're always coming in, they're 21-year-olds and so on, is something like this. When it's 0%, that's $2,000 divided by 12 months if you have no interest. That's $165, roughly $166 a month. So in a year with zero interest, it's paid off. As Gina said, if you pay the minimum at an interest rate of like what it is out there, 14, 18, some 29%, it's going to cost more than double to pay that off. So definitely rate shop.
Yeah, absolutely. And then start saving now, because we always seem to spend what we make. So if you can, I always recommend with my members, start a savings account with a partial automatic deduction directly from your paycheck, out of sight, out of mind, because if you don't see it, you're not going to miss it. And you'll start having a savings account, and don't wait until the bills are paid. Always pay yourself first. It's just something that I strongly recommend. And then keeping track of your money is so important. So this is something that I did for 30 days, and boy, was I surprised, because it really adds up. If you write down every single thing that you spend money on or track it through an app, myself, I noticed that I spent a lot of money eating out with my fellow coworkers because it's fun. But I was able to save over $200 a month just by bringing my lunch. And I lost a little weight too. So there's other benefits.
It's so funny you would say that, because I did the same thing, except with my husband, is, we get paid okay. And I was wondering, where is all our money going? So one month we just decided to write everything down, and it was on a digital app. But like I said, they have apps for everything. But actually this was on our online banking, because you can categorize what you spend on our online banking. So we kind of held back, and instead of eating out, we decided we'd eat out once a week instead of almost every day. And I kid you not, $500. We had an extra $500. So by tracking it, what you use with your debit card, because you just swipe and go, but definitely monitor what you're doing, write it down, use an online banking app. We'd love you to use ours, but of course, most online banking apps and mobile apps now have it where you can categorize each thing. So you can see at the end of the month, oh my goodness, we spent $400 and $480 eating out, and you still buy groceries. So
absolutely
a good way to keep track of your money.
So true. And really the average person spends over $1,200 a year at Starbucks too. So
oh my gosh, thank God I don't drink coffee.
Yeah. So use that tracking app or software, or even just a good old fashioned pen and paper, or whatever you're comfortable with, but definitely just tracking it is so important. And we do recommend using your debit or your credit card. You'll have a better idea of where you spend your money, because on our mobile banking and our digital platform, it does track where you spend it and categorize it, like Sheila mentioned. And it's safer than carrying cash. And if you do choose to use cash, just monitor how many ATM withdrawals you make and try to limit it. So let's look at utilizing tools and resources. As Sheila mentioned, Financial Partners offers free budgeting and savings tools with our digital and our mobile banking. And it's really easy. I always say, if I can do it, anyone can use it. So definitely check it out. We also offer Financially Fit. And these are online little modules that are at fpcu.org under Learn. They're quick videos on a variety of financial education topics like credit scores, or even what we're talking about today, building an emergency fund. It's just a quick 2 to 3 minute video. And we offer 24 different topics, so please check them out. And you can always visit one of our personal bankers in any of our branches, or a financial consultant. We would love to help you.
like Gina was saying, our wealth management team is available. You could, of course, visit our website. But what's great is, like she says, the first appointment's available. And it's nice to really have a plan for the near future and for the far future. It's a great way, again, to then to budget how much you can save and not. And back to the modules, like Gina was saying, it's great because even your children, your young adults can do it, because there's stuff like your first checking, your first auto loan, or even if you're thinking about buying a home, first time buyers, from everything from that to retiring. So the modules are free. Like we said, fpcu.org/modules. You don't have to be a member to go online and use those tutorials and really educate yourself on all 24 different topics.
Yeah, and I love how quick they are. They're not long and lengthy, so they get right to the point.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, and then let's talk a little bit about income. You really want to be conservative when you're relying on your non-guaranteed income. And that's looking at like your overtime or your bonuses, even incentives if you receive them. You never really want to you just put so much reliance on that, because you don't know, in many times it could be reduced or it could be eliminated. And then if you do get a large tax refund from the federal or the state, you might want to talk to your tax advisor to see if you should adjust your withholdings so that you take more home in your paycheck. So that's also a way that you can increase your income. And then here's a simple way to lay out a budget. You look at your proposed budget and you have two columns, current and proposed. And you list all of your current fixed expenses. And these are like things that don't change from month to month. So maybe it's your rent or your mortgage, auto loans, and they're never going to change. So those are going to be your fixed expenses. Then you would add in your variable expenses like credit cards, because those might change from month to month, or maybe it's a utility bill. You'll add in things that fluctuate. And then you're going to subtract those from your income and make adjustments as needed. And then after you've done that, you're going to review your essential versus your discretionary and add in your savings goals. So, it could be maybe a subscription to a gym or something that you really don't need, that you can take out of your budget and then add in your savings goals. So there's a lot of items that you can just review and see and make adjustments as necessary. So these are some action items that we can control. You can increase your overtime if your employer offers it. Take it and maybe set up a side savings account to put that money into, separate from your other income, and you can use it to pay off debt or simply just add it to your savings account. You could also determine you may need to get a part-time job, and maybe it's just for a little while you're working towards your financial goals. And this is something that I see becoming really popular. You can sell things. I have a friend who uses apps like OfferUp and Let It Go. And she sells clothes and gently used purses and shoes even. And that's what she uses to take her family on vacation. So, just getting creative with things that you can control, even a good old fashioned garage sale if you need to. And then decreasing your spending. You don't have to buy everything you want. You could substitute it or postpone and wait until you're in a better position to have that. But don't forget your goals along the way. Always check in and see your progress. And here's some budget busters. And these are important to understand: positive debt versus negative debt. It takes money to make money. So a good example of a good debt is educational loans for college or a trade school, or investing in real estate. That's another great debt. Let's take a look at some of the bad debt. Well, clothes or other consumable items, those might not be the best debt. Or going out to dinner and using your credit card. You really don't want to charge more than you can ever pay in full. And always keep an eye out on rates and seek lower interest rates when you can. And again, you should check out our credit card, as we mentioned. And then we do have signature loans at a lower rate to help you consolidate debt you might have elsewhere. And that'll also help you save money. So looking at some budget busters more on the spending ways. Again, it's just asking yourself, do I really need it or do I just want it? And then for me, I find myself saying almost every holiday season, I need a new dress. I need a new black dress. Even if I have 10 in my closet, I still think I need a new one. But the reality is I probably really don't need it. So just stopping and asking yourself these questions, do I need it? I mean, what would happen if I didn't have it? Probably nothing. And then I think this is very important to really stay motivated along the journey. That as they say, Rome wasn't built in a day. So, envision your successes, have fun with that. You can create a vision board of some pictures of your goals that you want. Just a fun way to vision your successes. Stay on track. Remember to be realistic. Set those goals realistically. And life happens, so you are going to have setbacks. There are things like Sheila mentioned, vet bills and cars break down. So there will be some setbacks, and check in with your goals and see if they need to be adjusted and celebrate those successes and your progress along the way. So let's talk about what we could do now. What can you do today? Maybe it's revisiting your budget. What can you do in 3 months? And then what can you do in a year? Draw up those milestone calendars and be patient because you are on your way to financial independence. Thank you so much. And I hope that if you do have questions, you would be able to reach out to me. I know my email is there and my phone number.
So Sheila had a little bit of technical difficulties, so I'm hopping in. Her computer shut down on her, but thank you, Gina. Yeah, so she kind of fell off in the middle. So but thank you so much for sharing all of that great information about budgets. We did get some questions in on social media in advance, so we wanted to go through those. And then if anybody has questions, you can drop them in the comments here. And we can try to get to them. So Gina, I know that you saw some of these questions, but one of the questions that we got that I thought was interesting was, if I can, should I overpay on my mortgage?
Yes, absolutely. I would strongly recommend that, even if it's $100 a month, or if you can pay more, absolutely, because the interest rate at such a large, mortgages have the big balances. So over time, you will save hundreds and even thousands of dollars, and you'll pay off your mortgage early. So absolutely.
Yeah. Great. And this is something that, some people say, they have a budget and they try to mind it, but sometimes they have expenses that still come up that don't fit into their budget. How do they account for that? Or what do they do if they overspend on a certain month?
I think it's going back to reviewing the budget that you have, and see, are you tracking where you spend those monies? Are they essential? Like, did you really need to have that? And then make an adjustment and move forward with it. Yeah.
Great. And then someone asked, should I use paper, spreadsheets, or software?
Oh, I like that question. And I think it's all a personal preference. I think whatever you feel comfortable using, as long as you're doing one of those options, I think having it on the mobile app is really convenient. But again, it's whatever you're comfortable with.
Got it. And then how do I budget for one-time expenses? Like Sheila mentioned, sometimes the vet bill goes over 1 month, or how do you plan for unexpected expenses?
Unexpected. So I think it goes back to that emergency savings, always having at least 3 to 6 months of essential, but knowing that it can be used for if your car breaks down, or and something I didn't mention is that we're able to open up multiple savings accounts, and you can actually nickname them for certain things. So if you have like a vacation planned, or you can actually start saving towards it, like in a little bucket, but it's in a different savings account that you would have access to. So
yeah, that's so helpful. I use that for vacation, and even like when my son was trying to buy a car. So that worked out.
Holiday funds, whatever. Yeah, absolutely.
And one of the last questions we got, which I think I'm understanding, Tracy on Instagram asked, unlimited transfers is like fire for budgeting. And I think we discussed this quickly prior. I think that's a question about how typically prior to COVID-19, people were limited to how much they can transfer from savings into their discretionary fund. So maybe you can share about that.
Yeah, they with the CARES Act, they made transfers unlimited from savings to checking. So, I mean, I think we discussed that is a good thing, but you don't want to transfer all your money from your savings. So you could also do that cautiously, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So thank you so much. I think that's we got to all the questions, and unfortunately Sheila had technical difficulties in this, that's to be expected in this new way of conducting these events. But thank you so much. I'm really looking forward to next week. You're going to be talking about credit, which is such a popular topic that we often have. Oh, Sheila's back.
Hey, Sheila.
Hi, everybody. It's one of those things. I think my computer thinks it's Friday day off. I literally shut down. So
yeah, quitting time is early for your computer too.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, Sheila, if you had anything else to share.
Just did we go over the questions?
Yes.
We went
Yeah,
through
we
all the questions.
And the unlimited transfers is fire for budgeting. The Instagram post, we went over that. Okay, it's perfect. Okay, no, I don't. I'm sure you went over too. Thank you, Gina. I'm so sorry, everybody, what happened. Next week we have Fridays. So join us next week. Fridays, it's Gina again, Friday, September 25th at 11 a.m. again. And she'll be going over understanding credit, why it's important to build good credit, what makes it up, what's a FICO, and all that juicy stuff. So definitely join Gina for us and all of us next week.
Thank you, guys. Thanks, Sheila. Thanks, Lolita.
Everybody, have a great
weekend. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend.
Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.